It was a head-turning model upon its debut in 1963 and remains so 60 years later. The Chrysler Turbine car.
Red line is 28,000.
Powered by what is essentially a jet engine, only 55 were ever built, and fewer than 10 exist today.
The design is obviously influenced by the rockets. If you look, it's very modern inside, the afterburner taillights, but the engine is the star of the show. You know, it's a turbine powered, so it can run on anything. Kerosene, even tequila. Anything liquid that burns, it'll run.
Ralph Gilles is Chief Design Officer of the Stellantis brands Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Maserati, along with Fiat in Latin America. He talked about the Chrysler Turbine model at a Labor Day weekend car show at Lime Rock Park Racetrack in Connecticut.
Runs at very high RPM, so at the time in 1960s, the car came out in 63, Chrysler was trying to innovate a new type of propulsion. They wanted to make some noise and be known. They were very good for engineering, but they really wanted to put an exclamation point on their capabilities. So they built 55 examples. Never sold the car though. They would only loan the car out. So about 203 lucky custodians traded the car for about from 1963 to 1966.
The body of the Chrysler Turbine was built in Italy by Gilles.
The Italian firm in Italy helped with the design, so it was a little more, let's say, flamboyant than probably the cars at the time. And also the fact that they were all this color, this beautiful metallic copper color, it gave it kind of a symbolic look. There were posters of this car. It toured all the auto shows, and it was really kind of a centerpiece of Chrysler's innovation.
And it certainly was futuristic looking.
I look at this vehicle, there's so much inspiration. Everything is consistently inspired by the rocket era. You know, even the cylindrical shapes are the fuselage of a rocket. So the gauges, the switches. So the idea was you sit in the car before even starting it, you're already having a sense of occasion. The adventure, the spirit of forward thinking and the futurism that was going on in the design.
Gilles is always looking ahead himself when designing models.
In the design world, in the automotive world, we tend to be working 5 years in advance, sometimes even 10 years. So trying to set trends as well, not just follow them, of course. That's a challenging piece. And innovate, but take our following along. You know, we typically have about 50 to 55% loyalty in our customer base that keeps rebuying our vehicles because they love them. So you don't want to mess with that. You know, at the same time, you want to conquest and innovate. So it's a lot of fun. But my favorite thing is building pop culture. We can be here and enjoy something designed 50 years ago. I would like people 50 years from now to enjoy the things we designed today.
But he does appreciate the past and some of the old concept cars from Chrysler that were also brought to the show.
So my favorite here is the XNR. So Virgil Exner's swan song, his very last vehicle that he did before he retired. He literally would drive the car around Detroit. He built it in a way for himself, but also to show it at world fairs and auto shows. It made the rounds. It's a beautiful piece. It disappeared. It actually was in the Middle East for about 30 years. And its owner, Paul Gold, restored it, or bought it, restored it, and has now been enjoying it and driving it. I got to drive it on the parade this weekend. The Adventurer, another Exner special, and then the Diablo is one of my favorites. This beautiful convertible. All of them have this incredible swept, lunging proportions.
And what does the future hold? Will cars return and SUVs fade?
I think cars will continue to evolve. I don't know about coming back because the format is changing. You know, of course, the electrification is coming, the engine is going away, and now the battery pack is the challenge. And it's typically a flat piece underneath the car, which allows some new flexibilities that we didn't have before. If you look at most of the cars here today, they are still designed around the engine. So you've got the grille and you got the hood and all that. So that's going to eventually fade away and allow for some very interesting shapes that maybe the mid-engine cars back in the day predicted. Now you can do that in your average family car. So stay tuned. I think it's exciting, but I think formats will continue to evolve over years. It's a bit like the fashion industry. Some things are in one for 10 years and it fades away and something else is in. So it depends on the generations.
That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson. And don't forget to subscribe to Ride Connecticut's YouTube channel.